I just thought I had my call this morning. It's pretty good. I was doing some thinking about things, and then a couple of videos have gone up where I've described some of the just I think a couple of weeks ago things just weren't going that well, and I don't even know. There's one videos where I talk about feeling like I take 5 steps back and things just really suck and whatever. There's one video I think it's like titled "Too Tired to Produce," whatever. It's one of those days where I just I knocked out. I remember I think that particular day I had slept way more than I planned. Whatever. Anyway, my point being just that I've had a couple of people reach out and say, you know, like you can do it, you got it. This might be a bit of a hot take. It might be a bit controversial, and I don't mean to like very want to very genuinely express the appreciation I have for all those who give that support. Like it means a lot. But at the same time, I've always like this is part of the game that I choose to play. This is what I signed up for. Like there's no like this is literally the whole point. The whole point is you will have days like that. If you want to follow a similar journey, like this is what it looks like. The whole point of me sharing that is not to get help on solving those problems because I need to solve those myself. Like there are certain things which other people cannot solve for you. But the point is more so to share the reflections that I have throughout the ebbs and flows of the way things go. It's not like it's for people to see, I think. Because I keep these reflections. I've been reflecting by myself for a long time, and I think to make them public may bring value to some people. And if there's even the chance that helps one person, that makes it worth doing. And so that's why I make them. But the way I deal with problems, like there was somebody who reached out and said, hey, I saw your video, just want to let you know, I'm here if you want to talk. It's really nice. Like that message, I think it's very worth it to make to people. And I do this, if I can be there for somebody as well. But I personally find that I don't want to just talk about my problems. Like there's no point. I'm not somebody who struggles with stress. The problems are what they are. They either solved or they're not. I do two things. I either solve a problem or I get distracted. I want either distraction from something because my brain is like, if I can't think, I'm not in the right headspace, whatever, I'm going to go do something else and that's fine. I might go out with somebody, I might hang out or do something mindless like watch Netflix. It happens. You either distract or you solve the problem. Just and by solving every once in a while, there are occasions where it makes sense to soundboard things, but often I can solve problems by just talking to myself about it. That's a viable option. And if not talking to myself, I'll soundboard with somebody who's qualified in that particular problem. So I'll look at, okay, who's somebody who's done or dealt with this kind of stuff, who they're probably credible. I'll reach out and just soundboard with them. And I've done that on specific occasions where I think a person's opinion can bring in value. But a lot of the time you have the ideas, you have the tools to solve problems yourself. You don't need anybody else. And talking to people isn't going to solve those problems. This is just my personal experience and not something that necessarily people should follow. But I did think I'd share it. I don't know if other people feel the same way, but I don't find a lot of value in going to talk, to my friends about my problems. Everybody's got them. I think what's worth acknowledging is everybody's got them, and so you can be empathetic when you deal with other people and they fail or whatever. They've got their problems too, and you don't know what those are. Those are not necessarily your problems, but at least you can acknowledge them. They exist. And yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know what to do with those messages half the time because it's I appreciate it, but it just doesn't. I I have an appetite for responsibility and stress. That is why I do business. I enjoy it. That's the point. In the short term, there are some moments where things suck. Over a longer term horizon, I derive satisfaction. So yeah, there's no kind of I don't know. I think I don't pity myself or anybody in a similar position to my own. Like this is the game that I chose to play, and life's got its problems. Like there's no anyway. Um, I don't really know exactly where that reflection was going. It's just something that came to mind as I saw a lot of these comments. Is like I don't share these videos for people to pity me or to help me, but more just to show that it is part of the journey that you will necessarily go through. And the thing is, there's a lag between when I record these and when I post these for all kinds of reasons. But because of that lag, also sometimes people will reach out and be like, "Hey, I just saw your video. I see you're struggling. Here to help." But it's like, it's that was 2 weeks ago, and now I'm better. So there's also a bit of that. But yeah, I would say the support of people is something that like really means a lot, to see just how much people actually like will proactively reach out and try to help, and or even not just try to help but express their support, take time out of their day. And I think that is something that I'm extraordinarily grateful for, and also restores some kind of faith in people. But I also want to make a point of the fact that at the end of the day, like those problems are part of the journey that I signed up for, that I want to go through, and so it is 100% part of the territory, and it's not like yeah, like there's no like talking about your problems doesn't fix them. You either solve them or do something else. That is literally the two options you have. I don't like talking about problems because that feels like you're just dwelling on them without actually doing something. Like I can only either solve them or do something else entirely. I really do not like to look at a problem and just talk about it and complain. Like it's something that I I don't like doing. I just like, and this is why I have a very clear distinction. If I take ownership of something, I will work to solve its problems. And if I do not, then I do not. I cannot sit and watch a problem and just leave it be. That is something that I struggle with. Like, there's obviously exceptions to this, but it's generally not something that I like to do. Like, if there is something to change and to improve, I will proactively seek that out. If I consider, if there's some, if I have some sense of ownership over it. So like if it's my work, whatever, I take pride in my work. And so I will proactively move to solve problems that I see. Now, I'm not the type of person who can like see a problem and leave it be, unless I kind of detach myself from whatever it is. Like I kind of I put myself into a different mindset. I'm like, okay, this is not my thing. I cannot own it, and so I will not worry about it. But it's a pretty binary state for me. And I will say there is value to sometimes picking things where you do not proactively solve problems and you just say, this is not my thing. I'm not going to own this, because you cannot own everything. Pick your battles. It's one of the best things you can do, because if you pick your battles, right, you eliminate a number of problems that are not they're not high relevance to you. The easiest way to solve a problem is to decide that it's not a problem. And so I pick certain battles and others I don't. I think I've over time learned when to pick certain battles, and over time I learned when not to pick a certain battle and to just detach. And that's that. It is what it is. It's not what it's not, and I don't care. Very, at least for me, very enjoyable way to live life. Anyway, rest of today, I'm going out for lunch with cousins and then my grandpa, so family thing. I'm going to think a little bit more about London, reflect on that, try and see if I can pick up on data points. There's some part of me that wants to try and make a plan, but I know that like big fancy plans don't really work. It just like show up and do the thing every day, be consistent. That's really it. I have thumbnails to edit. Like I have a bunch of backlog of videos that I've recorded and gotten edited, but I haven't put them up, and so I want to do that. It's been like 10 days since my last one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. What else? There's a bunch of little bits and bobs on my to-do list, but nothing crazy high stress. And I've realized something about weekends, which is that like there was a start of this month. There's a big launch event for a client, and we were working weekends for them, but specifically me. I was working weekends for this particular project and things like that. Now, I'm absolutely like, I want to go the extra mile for my clients and things like that, but it cannot become part of the expectation, because what ends up happening is like, I need these weekends to do a bunch of like adjacent and peripheral work, strategy work, alignment work, all these kinds of things. Like, my weekends are actually really protected. I like them as having protected blocks of time, protected from calls, protected from like kind of client commitments, because it gives me time to operate on the business. There is a certain, people always say you want to work on your business, not in your business. There is a point in time where you have to do both. And I find weekends are really good because you can carve out time to work on the business and not in it. That is, for me, being a key observation. Like, I find weekends really important time. Like, they're really great time to work on particular things. And also, like, there are times where you want to go out, you want to socialize with people, build relationships, and just having, cutting that out is good. Yeah, so I have some catch up work to do, especially because I was in London. I wasn't pushing so hard on kind of like the hard work. Like, I was just working at maintenance level, and then kind of going around a bit, and had a couple. There were some good meetings and things like that. So yeah, that's it for the time being. I'll probably update later, after lunch, maybe later in the evening. Don't know.